To look at Texas in the year 1906 is to witness a giant waking up, rubbing the dust of the frontier from its eyes and reaching for the humming wires of a new world. This journey through time, crafted with the precision of artificial intelligence, is an exploration of how identity is forged in the fires of transition. Before we step into the mud and the electricity of the early 20th century, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and join our community of thinkers as we peel back the layers of history together. Texas in the year 1906 is a landscape defined by a profound and heavy silence, interrupted by the sudden, violent screams of steam whistles. It is a state caught in the tension between the slow, rhythmic gait of the horse and the frantic, relentless pulse of the machine. The railroads have become the new nervous system of the land, stitching together lonely outposts into a tapestry of burgeoning power. This is not yet the Texas of glass towers and infinite highways, but a place driven by a visceral ambition, where oil, cattle, and cotton are the currencies of a manifest destiny.
Get that secured now. Clear the line, we're moving out.
In the year 1906, the air carries a different weight, a mixture of coal smoke and the scent of sun-baked earth. The people walking these streets are the architects of a future they can sense, but not yet fully see, moving with a calculated purpose. There is a sense of gravity in every brick laid and every mile of track spiked into the dirt, as if the land itself is being disciplined by human will. We are looking at a society in the midst of a metamorphosis, where the old codes of the West are being rewritten in the language of industry and logistics. Houston, in this era, is a city that understands the fundamental dignity of sweat and the cold logic of the ledger. It feels functional, grounded, and unapologetically busy, a place where the wooden sidewalks groan under the weight of freight and the ambition of laborers. The architecture of the city is not designed for vanity, but for the movement of goods, with brick storefronts and rail yards dominating the visual landscape. Houston is a city that does not need to boast, because its power is visible in the smoke of its engines and the depth of its waters.
I particularly adore the velvet walking suit.
Even though it sits miles from the open sea, Houston in 1906 is already positioning itself as a global gateway. The vision of an inland port is not just a dream, but a calculated strategy to bypass the limitations of the coast and bring the world to the heart of Texas. There is a coolness to this ambition, a recognition that wealth is built on the infrastructure of movement and the control of supply chains.
It's still standing.
It is a city that works while others sleep, confident that the future belongs to those who can master the logistics of a changing planet. Dallas, by contrast, feels like a city that has already decided it is a metropolis, even if the rest of the world has yet to catch up. In the year 1906, the rhythm of Dallas is faster, sharper, and more organized than its neighbors, with streetcars cutting through the crowds with a clinical efficiency. The buildings here are already reaching upward, as if trying to escape the dust of the 19th century and claim the air of the 20th. It is a city of commerce, of signage, and of a polished ambition that suggests a rehearsal for greatness. There is a certain sharpness to the sidewalks of Dallas, where the suit and the tie are becoming as common as the work boot. The city is obsessed with the aesthetics of progress, ensuring that every commercial block and every trolley wire projects an image of modern sophistication. Dallas is not merely growing by accident. It is being curated into a center of finance and fashion, a place where the deal is as important as the product. It is a city that understands the power of perception, practicing the art of being a major player on a stage that is still being built. San Antonio remains a place where time behaves differently, flowing like a slow river through streets that remember the footfalls of centuries. In 1906, the city carries its history openly, with Spanish and Mexican influences shaping the very bones of its architecture and the plazas of its public life. There is a warmth here, a human pace that refuses to be hurried by the cold demands of the machine age. San Antonio is a living museum, where the missions and the markets provide a sanctuary for memory in a world obsessed with the new.
Shut that gate now.
Yet even here, the pressure of modernity is felt in the gentle hum of the streetcars and the steady expansion of commerce into old neighborhoods. San Antonio exists in two timelines at once, honoring the traditions of the past while stepping with a quiet dignity into the 1900s. It is a city that understands that true power does not always require the destruction of what came before, but rather the graceful integration of the old and the new. It is the soul of Texas, a place where the heart beats with a rhythm that is both ancient and evolving. Austin, the seat of authority, feels quieter than the industrial hubs, but it carries a weight that is far more profound. In 1906, the capital is a place of order and purpose, where the pink granite of the Capitol building stands as a silent sentinel over the state's destiny. The city is shaped by the presence of officials, thinkers, and visitors who bring a sense of calm authority to its streets. Austin is not a city of frantic movement, but a city of deliberate thought, where the future is being drafted on parchment and debated in halls of power. Alongside the machinery of government is the growing influence of the University of Texas, which injects a sense of youth and intellectual curiosity into the city. Austin is a place where ideas are as valuable as oil, and where the identity of the state is being shaped as much as its infrastructure. It is a city that is not racing to the finish line, but instead is planning the route, focused on the long-term architecture of influence. In the year 1906, Austin is the mind of the state, reflecting on where Texas has been and where it must go. Fort Worth stands at the rugged edge, where the frontier finally meets the industrial reality of 1906. It is the working West, a city defined by the visceral smells of the stockyards and the constant clatter of rail lines moving cattle to the world. Fort Worth is practical, unpolished, and entirely confident in its own skin, a place that values the reality of labor over the vanity of appearance. The brick buildings and new streetcars are signs of progress, but the spirit of the city remains rooted in the dust and the leather of the trail. This is a city that modernizes without pretension, embracing the tools of the new century while keeping its boots firmly planted in the soil of the old. The stockyards are the heart of its economy, a massive engine of industry that turns the raw resources of the plains into the wealth of the city. Fort Worth does not try to be Dallas or Houston. It is content to be the gateway to the West, a place where the work is real and the progress is earned. It is the muscle of the state, carrying the legacy of the frontier into the heart of the industrial age.
Back then, we didn't have fences, just open land as far as the eye could see. Look, Grandma, I found a...
By the year 1906, the story of Texas has become a collection of different narratives, each moving in its own direction. Houston is building the muscle of industry, while Dallas chases the scale of a modern metropolis. San Antonio is the keeper of memory, and Austin is the architect of influence, while Fort Worth remains the steadfast guardian of the working West. The state is not transforming all at once, but rather city by city, piece by piece, as it assembles a new identity for a new century. The year 1906 represents a moment of profound equilibrium, where the ghosts of the past and the pioneers of the future are walking the same streets. It is a reminder that progress is never a straight line, but a complex dance of adaptation and preservation. As we look back at these 5 cities, we see a state that is learning how to be many things at once, finding strength in its diversity and power in its contradictions. This is the era when Texas stopped being a frontier and started being a force to be reckoned with. As we conclude this journey into the heart of 1906, there is a lesson for us in the modern day, hidden in the dust of those old Texas streets. These cities succeeded because they understood their own unique strengths and leaned into them with a relentless focus. Houston did not try to be a museum, and San Antonio did not try to be a rail yard. They each carved out a specific purpose and pursued it with a quiet, Machiavellian intensity. The lesson is simple. In a world of constant change, you must know exactly who you are and what you offer that no one else can. When the world around you is shifting and the technology of the future is threatening to overwrite the traditions of the past, do not panic. Instead, look at the foundations you have already built and ask yourself how they can be adapted to the new landscape. Success is not about abandoning your history, but about using it as a springboard into the unknown. Like the cities of Texas in 1906, you must find the balance between the dust and the electricity, between the horse and the wire. I leave you with this question to ponder. If you were standing on the edge of a new era today, just as those Texans were in 1906, what part of your identity would you fight to preserve, and what part would you be willing to evolve? How do you decide which traditions are worth keeping and which are merely anchors holding you back from your potential? I hope this exploration has given you a new perspective on the nature of change and the power of ambition.
All right, lift that beam up high. Watch your heads. We got it. Steady now.
Thank you for spending this time with us, traveling back to a year that helped define the modern world. I wish you good health, a clear mind, and the courage to build your own future with the same grit and vision as those early 20th century pioneers. If you found value in this narrative, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us continue to look at the past so we may better understand the power we hold over the future.